Hello, I'm Gary Mineart. I'm from Decorah, Iowa, and I fish Tenkara. What is Tenkara to me? Tenkara is just a form of fly fishing that seems to be really well suited for the creeks around northeast Iowa where I live. Why do I fish Tenkara? Well, again, I think having come from a background of western fly fishing, it just seemed when I discovered Tenkara that it was very well matched to the smaller creeks and the creeks that have a lot of tree cover here in the driftless area. And after I got into fishing with Tenkara, it was sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's really worked well, and I've gotten into it and enjoyed it ever since. Well, my go-to Tenkara rod and setup, I would say I typically use two rods more often than not. They're both from Dragon Tail. I use a Dragon Tail Nirvana when there's enough room to cast. It's probably my favorite rod. And then I use the Mizuchi when things are a little bit tight and I may need to collapse the rod down a little bit. I usually use a level line that's about the length of the rod, usually number 3 or number 3.5. And about line length, approximately the length of the rod that I'm using. I use number 3 or number 3.5 level line, about 36 to 45 inches of usually 5X tippet. And when I usually fish in the morning, so a lot of times I'm fishing below the surface, and I have use a strike indicator, which is about 8 inches long between the tippet and the level line, that I tie onto those lines with tippet rings, and it just helps me see strikes a little better. So what kabari do I use on a regular basis? I would say, again, because I fish a lot in the morning and I'm usually subsurface, I tend to gravitate to a Utah killer bug. Probably, I would say 80% of the fish that I've caught have been on a Utah killer bug, even though this isn't Utah. And then I would say it's a sprinkling. The other 20% are probably evenly split between an Ishigaki Sakaza kabari, a number 12 black beadhead woolly bugger, and probably a number 20 midge pattern for when the fish are feeding on top. Is Tenkara cane pole fishing? Well, I would say Tenkara has its roots in cane pole fishing, but Tenkara is leaps and bounds beyond cane pole fishing. The rods that are made now for Tenkara are so highly specialized, and I mean, there are all sorts of different stiffnesses and sizes, and you can match the rod to a tippet, so you can use the tippet size to prevent the rod from being damaged by too large of a fish. You cannot collapse a cane pole and put it in your pack and hike to a fishing spot. There's, like I say, on the surface it might look like cane pole fishing, but it's certainly much more advanced and much more technical now than cane pole fishing, and that is part of the appeal to me.